So if you're watching, that's the book, The Lies She Wears. But if you're not watching, the book's called The Lies She Wears. I have the author with me. Number one, we have a Sacramento connection. I'm from Sacramento.
Get out.
So we have
Let's
that.
hear it. What is it?
We'll talk about that. We're going to talk about that.
Okay, okay.
Like, I was just in Sacramento last weekend for my kids.
Really?
She also graduated from UC San Diego, which is a great school. UC system is a really great system. Before she went to France, she said, "I'm going to France." Earned a
Mhm.
master's degree from the Sorbonne. And what's so funny for me is three of my best friends in San Francisco, who are from Sacramento, went to the Sorbonne also. I don't
What?
know what's going on.
What?
We'll talk about that
We
too.
need a club. We need a Facebook group.
We do, you guys do, and we'll get to that.
Okay.
But now she's in Oregon. We love Oregon. We do. It's just her fifth book, right? Your fifth,
Seventh.
seventh, right? Seventh book.
Yes.
But here's the deal, kids. This book is good. It's a page turner, and this is what I wrote. It's a study in family. It's mother daughter. It's siblings. It's suspense. It's drama. It's part detective story. It's different time periods. It's father daughter. It's a lot, and I mean that in the greatest way possible. And there's some really good twists in here that I did not expect. I'm not giving it away because I want you guys to read the book. We're going to talk some stuff. She, of course, has been number one on the Amazon charts for stuff. But right now, currently, Homegirl is on these. I'll make sure I get these correct. Charts right now. So you guys on these certain charts, she's under murder thrillers, psychological thrillers, and suspense thrillers. Ooh, it's great.
We
Seriously,
like thrillers.
we like thrillers. If you're on a plane, on a train, or even an automobile, and you're not driving, get the book. Help me welcome Elle Marr, or is it Ellie Marr? No, that said right correctly.
Elle,
Right.
Elmar, you did it.
Okay.
Thank you for having me.
Congratulations on the book.
Thank you
Doing
very
a book
much.
is it's a birthing process of sorts. How do you feel the book is done? And right now, I think today is out today. I think as we're recording this.
It's today. It's
Yes.
today. The day we're recording. It is our the pub day for the life she wears.
Congratulations. How's it feel?
Thank you. It feels fantastic. Oh, it was you used the word birthing. It was a an experience to get this book out, not only out of my head, but then also in book form and this whole fancy book form.
Um,
Um, it takes a whole team of professionals, much like birthing a child, which I also did last year. Did I tell you that?
no,
Did you know
oh
that?
my God. Okay, okay.
We have things to
Congratulations,
discuss.
mother. Oh my goodness. Okay. So 2 years in a
Oh,
row,
it's
you
been
gave birth
busy.
to something.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
good. That's good. That's really
It's
good.
good. We've been busy.
Yes,
But it was a whole experience getting this thing out, and I'm so happy with how it turned out. It is an excellent book, baby. I'm very, very proud of it.
you should be. It's really. I read it. It's really good. Before we get into the book, okay. First couple things. So, Sacramento. I literally
Yes.
was just there. I have my kids and grandkids live. They stayed there, so I left to come back to LA for riches and fame. And so they're still there. My one daughter's in
Hmm.
Hollywood Park, which is across from Land Park, uh,
Yeah.
and my daughter's out in El Dorado Hills now, but she was in Carmichael and
Yeah. Well, I know El Dorado Hills too.
yep, you know it.
Oh, wow. That's
I
so
was
fun. And
out
so
there.
did you live there? Did you grow up there, or did your family move there and then now you visit?
So great question. So my father got a job with a senator. Obviously, so
Hmm.
folks at home, Sacramento's our state
Good for
capital.
him. Yeah.
So back when he divorced my mom
That's
back in
neat.
the '80s, this is a long time ago.
Hmm. Hmm.
And so we used to come up and visit all the time. Then we did buy kind of up and down living. So I didn't go to school in Sacramento, but I spent and grew up a lot in Sacramento. The summers, went.
No, it's gonna say don't go there in the summers.
Oh, I know. Oh my God. My one friend says, "I won't see you till September." He's like, he stops in May. He says his family, "I'll see you in September." I
I
know those.
love I love Sacramento. Summers though, like July, hot August nights.
Oh,
Ooh, I mean like no, they're too intense. They're lovely. I think May and June, but July and August are really intense. So great. You must have really loved your dad.
yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy, girl. And then, but Sacramento for me because it was so different in Los Angeles. I spent time in both.
Yes.
Then
Yes.
but then I graduated high school and then went to Cal State Chico. And then
Oh,
I lived in Sacramento after that. I landed back in Sacramento. I worked. I
that's
spent.
great.
So I worked at Sutter Health Hospital
Yeah.
in downtown Sacramento. I did that. So I was there. And that's when I had my kid. I had two daughters.
Oh my
Had a
goodness.
whole life there. And
I was gonna say.
then I left for San Francisco years later when they became adults. And then I came back to Los Angeles. But then they stayed there. Each got married, stayed there, and had kids. So now my
That's so
kids and
lovely.
grandkids are there. The whole family
Yeah.
there.
You're
Yeah.
never escaping, Zach. They're gonna it's gonna keep you there forever in one
As
degree or
long as
another.
Jim Boy's Tacos is still open, I'll be so happy I will continue to go. As long as it's still open,
You're
I'll be fine.
you're a simple man. You just need Jim Boy's tacos.
I need Jim Boy's Tacos.
I
And the
get it.
thing I do miss, the one thing about the summers I did enjoy though is I'm a boater. I'm a sailor boater.
Mm,
So going to Delta River, American River, or Sacramento, we used to do that all the
yeah.
time. I mean, I used to go on the river.
Oh, that's
Just
great.
walk
Yeah.
down. I
That's
don't.
beautiful.
And Sacramento folks, the one thing I love the Victorian homes there in
Hmm.
downtown, midtown, and all the trees. There's a lot of trees.
Yeah.
Don't do anything,
Beautiful.
shelter or shade, but they're there for
The heat is too
everybody.
intense.
Right.
I mean, Sac used to be the city of trees, so it's
Yeah.
great that you love that about them.
Yes, I did. So that's our Sacramento connection. So did you grow up and were you raised, were you born and raised or partially raised, or how was it for you there?
We are interconnected. I was born in LA
There you go. There you
and
go.
then grew up in Sac and then went back and forth to LA to my grandparents' house a fair amount, like every summer. Uh,
We're the
but grew up
same.
in Sac and then lived and
I
moved
know.
out when I was 18 and went to San Diego for school.
That is kind of funny. We both went the opposites.
Yeah,
Like then you end up coming down south. I end up going north.
right. Exactly. I got overshot it. I went a little too far north, hitting Oregon. I
Well, I mean,
was
but
supposed to go
I
back to
like
Sac
Oregon.
according to our plan. I
But
do
I
love
like
Oregon.
Oregon.
No, I love Oregon. I've been here
Yeah.
for 10 years. It's a wonderful place. I love Oregon. I love Portland, Oregon. This book, The Lie She Wears, is set in Portland. So
Yeah.
I think readers will get a gist of how much it is a secret love letter to Oregon.
Well, you also mentioned Bay Area in it too, so I just mentioned that it's in the book
Yes,
also. But
absolutely.
yeah,
NorCal.
Oregon, Voodoo Donuts. I'm in Powell's books. I'm in. I mean, like just like and Oregon and Portland reminds me parts of Sacramento. It reminds me
Yes.
it reminds me of Sacramento very
Yes.
much. It does.
Yeah, I'm always saying that Sacramento is like a more buttoned up version because of the capital. And
Yes.
then Portland is like, crunchy. It's like Sac's crunchiest parts are Oregon, Portland amplified. The flannel,
Yes.
the swing dance nights, like
Oh my God, that's funny.
it's
Yes.
great. And every single book that I write, not is that true? Most of the books that I write have an Oregon connection or Pacific Northwest. One is set in Washington, I remember, and California. Almost each of my books, my 7 books, have a connection to either California or Oregon or both. So the roots are strong in my writing.
I love it. Now, in your book, I always got to be careful on doing this, but it's out today. So everybody, run and get it. Watch us first. Run and get it. So when I say a few things, we're like, "Oh, okay," you might catch it, but I don't want to get too much away because it's really good. Um, so I always have to ask the writer, the author, how would you describe the book? And then we'll go get
Oh,
into
yes.
it.
Oh, yes. Well, The Lie She Wears is my covert love letter to Portland and also the Bay Area. And it follows museum curator Pearl as she receives a letter from her recently deceased mother confessing to murder. Pearl thinks she has discovered her mother's darkest secret. What could be worse than that? But then more letters surface and new victims appear. And she realizes that she's caught in a deadly game of cat and mouse and that someone is following in her mother's footsteps and they're getting closer. It has one of the best twists that I have written, in my opinion. I'm so excited for readers to discover it, and I really hope that readers love it as much as I do.
It's a good. I didn't see it coming. Seriously,
Good.
I usually so because sometimes, and I'm sure you have too. We watch a show or read a book, and you kind of maybe halfway
Yeah.
to kind of go, I have an idea it's this person or possibly
Hmm.
that person. This one I did not. I was not. I was like, oh, okay.
Yay!
There's. I was like, oh, I almost said it just now. Well, I said, but I was like, okay, got it. All right,
All right.
and
Yeah, okay.
folks, I want to say this out loud. It makes sense once it comes
Thank you.
out. I'm trying to be careful with my words. Once it comes
Yeah.
out, it makes sense. It's not one of those things you're like, oh, really? I mean, oh, that person,
Hmm. Yeah.
because there's the thing. Well, here's the thing. you pack a lot of history in here. You know, I can mention it. Well, I guess I can mention this. There is the thing about sisters in here, and a sister shows up. I guess I can say I'll say that. I won't say the name or where, but a sister does show up. And there's a whole thing there, and there's some really emotional moments about them and their mother, or the memory of their mother, or so I don't give away the one part about this. But I really enjoyed that character coming in, and how she came in. Yeah, because remember, so yeah, his mother dies. There is a will reading, folks. So that's kind of what happens. And um, actually, I can read this passage. It's a passage I'm going to read. I think it's kind of related to this. Yes, it's related to this. It's not giving anything away. But I liked this passage. I really did. Okay. Pearl was indoctrinated at a very young, no, excuse me, here again. Take two. Pearl was indoctrinated at a young age to always respect Sally's wishes and her rules. Whereas I don't feel the same obligation. She was my biological mother. And what am I, as her oldest child, if not entitled to a little late stage rebellion? First things first, check the attic. Past the folding ladder steps and inside the stuffy level of the house, I find a dozen plastic trash bags. In the third that I open, a small pink fabric bag is zipped shut. White thread stitches present a capital letter V, suggestive of the name Sally told me she wanted to give me at first, Victoria. I unzip the bag, then breathe a sigh of relief. I found it. The handmade yellow baby sweater that Sally said she knit for me. It's soft and perfectly preserved up here in its protective layers. I doubt Pearl would have ever gotten around to going through all this stuff. She is vehement that nothing be touched after Sally's death. But I'm glad to get closure on this item now. This is a tangible link to Sally as my mother. That, I mean, folks, when you read the book and you run across that passage, and you're like, oh, I see what James was talking about. There's so much in there for the sister. You'll find out what happened, reason why she wasn't around and stuff. You'll find out. And I just thought that I felt like I was in the attic with her. I felt like I came across the bags with her. I can see pulling out, at least I got a hat, pulling it out and it's going like looking at it. And it's not just a baby yellow sweater. It's her past. It's what could have been, the V, Victoria, because the chick,
Exactly.
it's a lot of things. So when you create the book, she obviously had Pearl first. So I'm assuming Pearl is the lead, right? She's the lead.
She has the second chapter in the book. Yes. I always start with my main characters when I'm writing.
Right. But then Sally, who's the mom, she's kind of a lead too, right?
She's absolutely a lead, just like in Julius Caesar. If anybody's familiar with Shakespeare's Julius Caesar, you never see Julius Caesar. He's dead.
That's true. You're
Uh,
right. Oh my God, you're right. Yes, right.
but he is the main character. He is the eponymous Julius Caesar. So Sally is very similar in that she is a main character. She drives much of the conflict.
Right. That's what I thought. So you have those two, but then we have the sister comes in. Um, she's clearly a secondary character at first, but I feel like she becomes a main character later.
I try to write each of my characters as if they could fill up a whole book, as if they have that complexity and those layers,
Yeah.
and then somehow imbue those paragraphs with that information so the reader grasps that complexity, that this could be a whole person that they might meet in real life, or it might be a reflection of like some aspect of them. I try to do that, and yet my editor is like, "We only have 80,000 words, Elle. We are only going to go to max 340 pages on this."
Right.
So I have to cut it. I have to cut it significantly down. So um, in my mind, they are all, yeah, main characters. They all believe that they're the main character. You'll have to tell me you
I
read
like that.
it.
Well, no, but that's the thing because I really did. Because for a while you're following her journey too. There's twin journeys going on here, and there's some stuff that happens to Pearl, and for a while you're following the sister. You so like I'm like it's almost like a baton was passed. That's what I wanted. That's what it felt like. Almost like a baton was passed. Now it's her part of the journey, but it's all going back to the mother, Sally.
Yes, yes, 100%. It always comes back to the mother. That's what I was. That was
In
one
real
of the
life too,
themes that I
right? In
was
real life
considering.
too. I was going back to the
In real life too. I'm not. Yep, yeah, 100%. I completely hold to that, and that's something that I was reflecting on while I was writing this book. It all comes back to the mother, whether or not someone believes it. Mothers influence so much, even in their absenteeism or their presence in someone's life. And this book demonstrates that for each of the characters concerned.
It does, and it's and oh, I can't say that. I want to say, but it's.
I really admire the Freudian dance that you're doing because I cannot do that. I will slip everything
I
out. That's why
know,
I'm
and I'm
so
sorry.
quiet on the
So
side.
this is what I do for a living, Elle. Like I always got because I do read the books, so I'm so excited. And if I like them, I really want to talk about them. I can tell you off camera, but oh,
I admire the skill right now.
but the thing is for people, just let you just know that it's a very interesting, and even the dad's in it. The dad he's a secondary character. I feel more he's secondary, but I am curious about him too because in the second half of the
Oh.
book, it kind of ramps up, and there's some stuff there that where he's involved, and it goes back to the wife. It goes back
Mm,
to Sally. It all goes back. Well, and also another person too, but it goes back to Sally.
yeah.
But even his part of it is too.
Yeah. Let me tell you, when I say that I create each of my characters as if they're whole people and they have their own books, they could be their own leads. I literally did that for the dad. I wrote about 8 other chapters, a totally different like prequel story for him, and then realized that they weren't working, and I cut them. They were just sitting on my computer, a short novella for any readers who are interested in learning more about him.
Yeah,
And it was an excellent exercise in determining what were his motivations. How did he get to this point? How did how did he and Sally come together? Sally being this woman who left her daughter a posthumous confession of murder. How did her husband meet this woman and fall in love with this woman? So there's a lot every time I craft a character that goes into it, and him in particular, I have so much that went into him that no one will ever see now.
he did love her. I mean, there was love there. That's what we find out. There was
Yes.
in the beginning. There really was that was there. Um, I don't want to give away something. He was escaping something himself. He had his own right. He had his own life also. I can say that he had his own life
Yes.
before her too, before Sally.
Yes. 100%. Mm-hmm.
He did.
Mm-hmm.
I was
Mm-hmm.
gonna say, folks, when you read it, the more twists and turns come out, you're like, oh, it's so good. You
Yes.
mentioned when more and more bodies start showing up, it's
Mm-hmm.
very interesante, as you say in Spanish. I love
Yes.
it.
Thank you. Thank
It
you.
is. It is. And so he had a life before her also, but then he did come to meet this woman. He did love her, have children with her, but something, things happened. Yeah, I can say that. I guess I can say that, and things happened. So I think,
Yeah.
so each character you wrote, you're right. I could see them each being, well, actually, I can see them being the lead of this book. I really can. I mean, so I guess I am feeling the way I'm feeling on purpose. I kept saying, well, there's several leads in this book, actually, which is
Yeah.
unusual.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's hard to keep that balance where it's not overwhelming the reader. But I think me and my editor really struck that. It is Pearl's story and it is Sally's story at its heart. It's a mother-daughter story, and their pre-existing tension, the reasons why they never fully connected, which Sally was withholding for much of her life, and which she begins to unburden herself with in death. It's For me, it was about learning discovering the past in order to understand the present, and then to be able to move forward unburdened in the future. And I think a lot of people, a lot of characters have a hard time doing that. And I really wanted to explore that journey with this specific setting and Pearl, especially because she's a museum curator who is constantly surrounded by stories, which most of which she'll never know as a curator, will never know as museum visitors. all of that was really fascinating for me to discuss and to explore in my writing.
Also, no, yeah, all that. Also, um, there is kind of that sins of the mother thing that happens to Pearl a little bit. Our parents do something. There's supposed to be something notorious. I guess murder is one of those things. Um,
Sure.
and will I pay for it now? What she did, will I pay for it now? Or will I pay for it in some way? Will it affect me in some way? That's how I felt.
Yes.
Well, the answer is
Good.
yes. Yes, I'm just saying, but
In
the
general.
answer is yes.
Well, I think that's it comes back to our original point of this, right? Like mother, it all comes back to the mother.
It
And
does.
in varying degrees, doesn't have to be something that a mother does, doesn't have to affect her, the next generation, the generation after that. But sometimes it does. And I would argue that it always does, maybe in more muted degrees, but that you can always feel it because mothers are just like, speaking of Freud again, so pivotal and influential in like basic primal ways.
I agree. I do agree with that. I know because I'm a father, obviously, and you're a mother, a father, and I'm very
And
close.
fathers have their roles as well, absolutely.
But I just want to say,
No, no, I mean completely.
I always get to the mothers more. I'm sorry, because you guys give birth, you carry them. In most cases, you carry. It's in all cases. Most cases, you carry them. It's a whole different communication, non-verbal communication system. I feel with mothers and children, not just even dogs, but children. For us fathers, we have to kind of learn it a little bit. We have to learn the bond. And I'm very close to my daughters. I was there when they were born. I was in the room. I mean that whole thing.
Hmm.
But I still give it to the mothers who carry them. There's something just they lived off of you to come to the world. So I feel like that affects you also through life when they're on the other side.
Yeah, there's this strange like biological component to it. And I say this because I have three kids now and I just went like deep dive into like what does this mean exactly? Like I literally have like these kids' DNA in my body forever, for the rest of like forever.
You're right. You do
Um,
right.
which is wild. And this story really explores the mother-daughter relationship and how that can become fractured and then reverberate throughout someone's life. But it is important to note that fathers have their role, and it's actually Pearl's dad, Liam, who is her source of stability, who is her source of comfort, who allows her and enables her to become a professional person and an emotionally balanced person. She's insecure. She still has her issues, but the fact that she is as um, like resilient and composed as she is all thanks to her father. So like good parents, mothers, fathers, like good parents are so pivotal to their kids' lives. 100%. This story just happened to explore mothers and daughters and uh, mothers who have issues.
And I have no problem saying this because my mother and I have talked about it and worked it out. I had a aloof mother. So I know. So when I became a parent, I was very much like, I'm going to be the total, I'll make sure I was a helicopter parent. I was involved in everything.
Yeah.
I was in all their business.
Hmm.
I mean, I'll
Hmm.
find out a few years they go to therapy if I did something wrong, but so far I said I'm okay. But you know what I mean? Like I had a mother who I know loved me on some level, obviously, but it was more of a, maybe also because I was Gen X, we were like latchkey kids, the whole thing.
Yeah.
I don't know, kind of part of it also.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
recognize this because I bring this up because it's also a sister story.
Hmm.
And I have siblings of different ages, and we all have our different views of the parents and of each other.
Hmm.
I got that in this book also. These two sisters have to either come together or not. You got to read the book to find out, but that's the whole point too.
Yeah. Yeah, the book is, I think, through and through, one of the themes is choice. How are you choosing to show up for the people that you care for? How are you choosing to move forward despite trauma that's existing that will never go away, but that you can, are you going to heal from it in one degree or another, or are you going to sit in it? For a very long time, Pearl sits in it. She is avoidant. She is unable to really resolve it on her own until she, you know, receives this gift of this mystery, which no one wants.
She
No
didn't
one wants
ask
this
for it.
kind
She
of
didn't
letter,
ask for it. I
right?
don't want
She did
to.
not ask for it.
But yes, but
But it
that's
allows her to
what
explore
I do.
these questions as she's like following the mystery.
Right, and that's the whole thing. It's like sometimes things are thrust upon us in our families. Sometimes, not luckily for you, me, not this serious like that.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean. Like there's something
Absolutely.
happen. So that and you're right. It was like, Why me? Why I gotta, and it's, you gotta deal with it.
Yeah. And I think, I mean, all good books begin with that. Like I mean, the opportunity to go after something, to go after something complex, and the call to action, and the characters really dragging their feet, being like, I don't think I want to go to the Trojan War. I don't think I want to go to Mordor. I don't want to look at this letter or this posthumous confession of murder. And that to me is a really interesting point in every book. And I wrote The Life She Wears, really delving into that of like, why would anyone want to explore this? Why wouldn't you just ignore it or like take this immediately to the police? And you have to read it to find out why.
You do, kids. You do. Because I mean, it made me ask that question. Well, when my mother passes away, and I get this letter. Like, what? Like, you guys at home, that's a good question to ask yourselves when you read this book. What would you do? Because it's like, do you turn a blind eye and go, okay, whatever, girl, and throw it away, or do you turn to the police, or do you actually go on this? Do you go back to your home? Do you do the whole thing she did? Do you do that? Because she had to go back. She had the
Yeah.
things she had to do to follow up on this, and so yeah, and she went through a
I try,
lot.
yeah, absolutely. And I try to create realistic stakes, realistic expectations. She's like she has to balance a career that's got possible implosion on the horizon, as well as her ailing father, who's now in an assisted living home because he has multiple sclerosis. So she's got a lot of things that she's responsible for that are part of her decision making process. So she's not just she's very grounded. She's extremely grounded. That's like her thing. She's not emotional, which is part of the problem. And she really goes through all of the possibilities to deal with this situation, and also while managing her own personal loss because her mother just died. It's a the first like half is like exploration on all that.
I was gonna say, and that's also middle of all this stuff, a death occurred. And so I'll tell you a quick little story. My one of my grandmothers, who I was very close to, um, died and was taken. She was kidnapped. I know it's the story is crazy. She was kidnapped. We couldn't find her body. Um, Long story short, turns out her best friend of 30 years stole her and was trying to take her money.
Oh,
And right now she's currently in jail. But she literally took the body to another. She had some. She's like, I'm her sister. Her whole family's in California. This is in New York, and so I took her to another. But then it was like she tried to get something. They're like, wait a minute, there's people on beneficiaries on like. So then we saw, and then I had to go to New York. It was a whole crazy thing.
oh
So
my gosh, that is.
so we
No, I'm so
couldn't mourn.
sorry.
Thank you. We couldn't mourn my grandmother because for months we're trying to figure all
Mm-mm.
this out.
Yeah,
And so when I read, so that's what I felt towards the end of the book, which is satisfying. I love the, I'm great with the ending and everything. I am thinking, but in the middle of all of this, both sisters lost a mother. Homeboy lost a wife, since we had, or whatever, he lost that love or whatever. That's so now you got to get to that. That's how I felt. I didn't mourn my grandma's death until like maybe a year later. Then it fine when everything was
yeah.
settled. Then I started
Then you
feeling.
can finally mourn.
So I
Yeah.
felt that with this too. In the middle of all of this whole book, there's a death of a mother.
Mm-hmm.
And
You got to
Pearl
unpack
and her
that.
sister have to like really deal with what that means to them, especially Pearl. Well, not to say, I was not going to say especially. Each had different type. They had different situations with the mother. But I think for Pearl, because she was there and was, and all this stuff, and changed by this new news and all, and it's just, it's. I was like, girl, you got some therapy ahead of you.
And you know what? I think everybody benefits from therapy.
Oh, of course, I agree. I totally agree. I totally agree. I go to therapy. I totally agree. But you know what I mean? It was like, wow,
Yeah.
there's a death in the middle of all this stuff. There's a death. How do you even get to that? And then you kind of bring that to
Yeah.
this book also.
Right. And people frequently will ask me, like, you seem so normal. How do you come up with these things?
Like I'm not
Like the
normal at all.
nicest, I know, the nicest backhanded compliment, which I think a lot of thriller authors will get. But that question is always like, but you seem so nice. Um, all of my books go to these places. They go to these dark places, which are inspired by headlines, which are under the umbrella of truth is stranger than fiction. And I also like to think that each of my books carries this string of hope throughout the book, maybe at the end, maybe less so at the end, But it's my books are always I like to think hopeful, and I hope that readers get that and get that vibe from me. It's definitely a deliberate choice on my end because I think no matter how bad things can get, there is a way through. And with enough time or enough like initiative, we can all find that agency to seek resolution
And
and move forward.
I can say this book, there's resolution, and it does feel hopeful. It does. There's hope at the end. There is.
A little
A
bit.
little bit. Let's wait a little bit. Yes, to
A
read
little
it.
bit.
Elle, you're a delight. Thank you for the book. It's good.
Thank you, James. Thank you so much for having me for chatting.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. Totally my pleasure. And so, folks, I'm gonna, as this is being released, this will be released tomorrow. So it's the next day. So the book is out. I can actually say this. Sometimes I have to say it's soon. It's out. So run. Well, you don't have to run. Just pick up your phone, pick up your tablet,
Pick up
whatever,
your phone.
and order and buy the book. There's Kindle, Audible, um, book, actual physical copies. Some people like physical copies.
Paperback.
Go to Amazon. Do it. Do it. Do it. You don't have to even leave your house. Just get it. And then put a candle on. Get a glass. Sit down and sit down on the couch. Wrap yourself up and read this nice suspense thriller. Right, Elle? Right.
That's exactly the right combination. I love sitting on the couch in front of the fire, little glass, and just enjoying a book. So I hope that readers do that. It is definitely out. Get it indie bookstores. Get it from your library as well. I'm a big supporter of libraries or good old Amazon. Yeah.
So, folks, I always end the show, of course, thanking my guests coming on, of course. But I always end my show by saying that we support all writers, authors, indie and otherwise, big names, indie. We support all. We support the arts here on the show, in between the pages of James Lott Jr. We don't believe in banning books. We don't believe in that at all. We believe people should have access to whatever they would like to read. I'm just a big proponent of that. I just across the board, no matter what it is, I do. But the arts and support writing, support future authors and young authors and new authors of all ages because books are not going anywhere. They're here. People are reading in record rates, whether it is Audible or whatever, they're reading. And the arts have been proven, they've been proven to help improve math skills, science skills, English skills, social skills. Books take you to all kinds of places that can be helpful. So the arts are just very important. And it's very important to this show and to me. And that's why I always end my shows with that, because we do not, in this day and age, no, we do not, no, 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 but yes, 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 yes to books. MG Pages on Facebook. I have some books too on Amazon. If you want to check them out, James Lott Jr. But I want you to buy hers. Don't worry about me. Go get her book, The Lies She Wears, which I say it again and again. And we will see you next week. We're here on Thursdays, Wednesdays and Thursdays. We'll see you next week. Bye.